Fix the system. Fix the system. Jail the president. Jail the president. Jail the president. Jail the president. Jail the
The rain did its thing, and so we're doing our stuff.
Rain or shine. rain or shine, I want to thank persons for coming out here today. This is a serious focus, and persons at home hearing, but they accept resignation. Why you guys are out here? Why now? Accepting the resignation is not saying to us that justice was served. Correct. Accepting the resignation, it means this man had his day in court. Correct. If you have nothing to be afraid of, then go to the court. You have the best lawyer in the country. One of the best. Go through the normal my friend over like there. Everybody else. One of the best. My friend over there is one of the best lawyers. Not when you have persons coming, such a compromise system. For weeks, a compromise system. And then come to tell us file gone to police, like you're dealing with some ignorant people. And then the police give a signal that girl says she won't go forward, and then file go back to DPP and say that she don't want, and then some statement. But if man resigns, we don't know what's behind. We see nothing. All because how the Constitution set up and put power in the hand of person. They just call and say, what is a system? Shame on your fan to talk about system. That is. Is this what you're going to call a system? Tell us about the system. Member of Parliament. Come on, Danish. Tell us about the system. You're part of the legislative body. Tell us if the system, the judicial system in this country is working for regular folks. We have a number of MPs out there. Yes. I see MP St. Louis. I see MP Flume. There are a number of MPs there are here. Happy MP Sherrod.
First of all, I must express my disappointment with that statement that Irfan Ali issued. It is a slap in the face of Guyanese people. It is very unfortunate that no part of that statement made mention of the victim in all of this, a young 16-year-old who clearly is very shocked and very distressed and in a state of disrepair. And the system that Irfan so speaks about, so boldly about, and makes us, he believes we are gullible to tell us that this system has worked. Which part of this system has worked? Since the PPP has been in government, look at the number of things that have happened. Look at, we can even date back to before 2015, when Irfan and his PPP administration was in government. Did the system work? We can go back to the telephone conversation that Anil Nandalal had with Kaichor News reporter, that public knowledge. Yes. Did the system work there? Anil Nandalal is sitting as Minister of Legal Affairs. Kwame McCoy. We know that, I think it was Mark Benchcop that walked the streets playing a tape recorded conversation between Kwame McCoy and a child, Julius. And did the system work? Look where Kwame is sitting now in the arm of government, minister of this government. We know about Varshini Singh, who we were told was married to Bharat Jagdeo. Look at what she had to reveal. Yes. And did the system work for her? Look at the Quinlan Bacchus that was murdered. Yes. Look at the other gentleman in Golden Grove. Look at the Henry Boys and Harry Singh. Did the system work under the Progressive Party? And that is the question that ought to be answered. We must not allow the People's Progressive Party to continue slapping us in our faces daily by trying to hoodwink us, by trying to bamboozle us, by trying to create a narrative as though we are living in a country where justice is equal. It is not. Correct. We have a Guyana where the poor are facing one set of laws and the rich elite friends and families of the PPP executive arm, different type of law. Correct. In any normal circumstances, if such allegations are made and there is a credible story from the victim, then the proper thing to do would have been to lock him up like any normal person.
Correct.
I am not saying that people have that right to just go and say something happened to them and don't provide you with a credible story.
Correct.
But clearly, this young lady provided a clarity in terms of her story. She stuck to her story. She maintained what she said a couple of times when she was asked about it.
The same
There was
question.
credibility in her story. But Nigel Darnley was at Brickdam Police Station, put on $1 million bail for what I don't know because he wasn't charged. Ordinary people, ask yourself the question:
Yes.
would you have been afforded the opportunity to be placed on $1 million bail to go home to sleep comfortably in your bed while the young girl was taken away from her comfort zone under the disguise of being protected by the state, and then you see a series of allegations coming out as though this young girl was a threat to society.
Correct.
And Nigel was enjoying his AC room, his comfort zone, and was still receiving a salary from the people, from the taxpayers. The file went to the DPP. The DPP said she requires more investigation. The file was sent back, and here you have the young lady having to go back through the same thing. It was like you are re-traumatizing this individual.
Correct.
The simplest way of dealing with this matter is to charge Darrell, put him before the court.
Charge him now! 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 Charge
When
him
you have
now!
the interference of the system, then the judiciary doesn't come into play to do what it has to do. Take Darrell to the court, charge him, put him before the court, and let's see how the system works. Thank you.
Yes. Charge him now! No! Charge him now! Charge him now! But that's the Prime Minister. You say for us today, you're out here. You've been on this struggle from the outset, from the get-go. And you notice what the statement coming out from Ali's office and everything. What is it you bring to this conversation today?
I bring a lot of things to the conversation, Ms. Brooms. I'm very disappointed and progressively disappointed in this government and in what they have been doing as it relates to this matter. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. You may even tell me that he's going on leave. Now this man decide that he is resigning. I mean, what level of BS is this in this country? What level of disrespect is that to the people? And then for people to feel that, oh, this is okay. You know, the president come out and he said this man resigns, so all is well. All is not well. Resignation is not justice. You understand me? What message is the government, what message is the president sending to every victim across this country? What message is he sending to that child who has suffered, who has been a victim and has been made to be a victim again? What is the message we sending? What we doing as a people? This can't be okay. This can't be acceptable. This can't be business as usual. It's not. It is not. It should not be tolerated. Period. I am sick to my stomach. I don't know how people could have children and this situation don't upset them to the core. I don't understand how people could not be vocal in a situation like this. You understand me? It don't matter if you're a PVP supporter or not. This comes down to right is right and wrong is wrong. This man wrong this child. Let the child get justice. You come out here, you're hearing all sorts of things, man, gonna paint over bedroom. This one called somebody for some nonsense. Then I out here saying all the time, let the system work. I will give you that. Let the system work. So we tried the system and the system failed. The system failed that child, the system failed every other child, and the system has failed all of us as Guyanese. This can't be accepted. It should not be tolerated. It is not okay. And a statement needs to be made clear so that the president, the government, whoever, any other predator that got out there looking at us on social media to know that we will not be tolerating this. It is not okay on no ground at all. This is utter nonsense. Are you mean for tell me that you got people who, oh man, me neighbor send nothing because I getting a little money here or I getting a little thing here? You are part of the problem. You are the problem, just like Nigel. You understand me? You can't separate yourself from the problem. This is utter nonsense and intolerable. I am so disappointed. You understand me? When you come out here and you listen to ministers speak about their love for children and for the nation's children, and then the president put out a statement attacking our skin crawling. The president put out a statement that Nigel is affected. Nigel is affected, and he resigned. Nothing in that statement for that child. Nothing about we will do something to protect this child. We got systems in place. The child getting counseling. The family getting some sort of support. Nothing. Nothing at all. That is unacceptable. As a people, we are going to sit down and take this. I could imagine had this been an adult. Could you imagine the damage we would have done to the victim as a society when we could be so heartless and so cruel when it comes to a child? My God. I don't know. I don't know.
You hear the question. Yes, it's great. Yes, he expressed feelings for Damnal.
Yes, Damnal hurt. Damnal hurt. He hurt. Damnal got feelings.
Thank you.
Damnal has feelings.
Thank you.
Listen, even if Damnal had a little bit of feelings, sir, it's not for Odessa Primus consider. It's not for the people of Guyana consider that Nigel carry behind. He had no business engaging that child in the first place. I don't care what he say he do or didn't do. What you doing calling the friggin' child? What conversation you as a big man, but if anything bother you, you must call me. Hello? That is predatorial behavior.
What that say she rectifix? What that say she rectifix? What that's in her rectifix? Catch it.
So I like, you know, when this matter happened at first, and I looked at the way it was being handled, I was disappointed. But from there to now, it is a progressive disappointment. You hear? That's what the P in PPP stand for, progressive disappointment. Because I cannot bring myself to even think that this man was allowed to sit in office all that time. With all the cries across the country. It don't matter. I am not a politician. The cries were not coming from APNU supporters alone. The cry came from PPP supporters. The cries came from people who don't even support a political party. People who don't even live here anymore. And those cries went unheard. Huh? Where are we going? What we doing? What are we doing? If we allow this to slide, then what? It might be a minister today. Tomorrow it might be some big businessman. Then the next day it's somebody else. I mean, this is nonsense. I don't care who you be, whether you're government, opposition, business. I don't concern. Justice must be served. Especially in Amerindian villages, where young girls are made to be victims, where young girls are abused. You understand me? What are we saying to those girls? What are we saying? Shut your mouth, you don't got a voice. What are we saying? And is what we saying as a nation acceptable? You hear all the time, and I've said it before. People speaking of the children or the future. Our future, when he done, he said, man, The public hurt my feelings and so I going home. Go home, who cares? Go where the hell you want to go. You where he belong? No, but he decided where he going. Where he belong is in jail. Jail is meant for dark. Jail meant for people like he. Nonsense. You got a child that is older than this little girl. How you could look at a little child and be sexually aroused? That's sickening. It is sickening.
All right, guys. Hey, what? Good morning. I didn't mean to just pop in on you like this, but we are having some slight technical difficulties on the ground with our broadcast. We'll try to correct that as swiftly as possible. But I just want to say kudos to those people who are out there protesting this morning. It's raining. It was raining heavily earlier, and we saw those strong, those patriotic folks, those dedicated women and some men out there doing exactly what they brave people do. And so I just want to just say it is the internet that is acting up a little bit there on the ground, and we'll try to correct that. Don't go anywhere though. Do not go anywhere. Don't rush to get off. Um, we are going to try to fix it. Please do not go anywhere because this is serious business. This is not a fashion show. I repeat, this is not a fashion show. This is serious business. This is serious business, and we want to reiterate that we are going to. Sorry about that. We are going to try to get reconnected. We are going to try to get reconnected with these folks on the ground. And once we do, we'll be able to carry that, continue with the protest there on the ground. And while we're doing that, we ask that you share the link. I repeat, we ask that you share the link. Please share the link because when there are other stuff, you guys share the link, right? It's kiki thing. You know what I mean by that, right? But share the link. This is important. What is happening right now in Guyana? It is important. So please do share the link. Thank you. We will get back to you guys right after the protests as we, I think we're connected. So let's hear what's happening there on the ground.
Give way to the elders. I'm going to just give you six months over here.
you have relatives and friends in Guyana, send them down there. Let them spend an hour. Let them spend a whole half hour right now at Coffee Care. Coffee Care. So send your friends and your relatives out there. This is what we're doing behind the scenes.
I will get rid of the compromise. It's a serious struggle. Don't be distracted.
is not justice. Resignation is not justice.
No.
Not tomorrow. When we want it. No. 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 What we need. Justice. What do we need? Justice. What do we need? Justice. When do we want it? No. When do we want it? No. What do we need? Justice. What do we need? Justice.
I tell you, Lord, Darren, the last time we spoke, we didn't have the sense that the case was going to be definitively come to an end. That was done yesterday morning. And by last evening, we learned that the minister tendered his resignation as a member of parliament, as a member of cabinet, and the finale has accepted his resignation. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Sharon. Let me say this. The reason given or proffered by the DPP for not going forward is that there's no virtual complainant. Let me remind all that there is no limitation period for rape, burglary, or those offenses, sexual offenses. So at any point in time, the young lady involved in this matter could come forward. As a matter of fact, when I release her from prison, as I said before, she is imprisoned in the guise of protective care. But once she is released from custody and she's able to meet with her attorneys and so forth, all issues will be addressed. All issues in relation to her treatment in custody, interrogation later night, and so forth. I got that's the first part of your question. In relation to the resignation, as the chant there is today, resignation is not justice. Resignation is not resolution. And we will continue to stand resolute by the young woman. We will not abandon her. We will ensure that justice is not denied to her. Yes, it may be delayed, but we will continue to press and push for this young woman to be given the treatment that she deserves. Not for a police officer to go and take a statement from her whilst there is a sexual offense unit in the Guyana police force. No, not for her to be questioned and interrogated at 12 at night. Not for her to, based on the information that I'm getting, not for her to be getting bread and pure water, not being given proper meal. The way of the inhumane manner, the inhumane treatment that is meted out to this young woman should not be given to anyone, any part in the world, much as a rape victim. Very soon, a person will be reaching out to us, we will be engaging various mental health specialists to assist this woman. You don't treat a victim or virtual complaint, someone who's claiming that they're being raped in such a manner. You don't re-victimize them. You treat her as if she's the one the allegation is being made against. That is unacceptable by the authority. The entire system, the entire government is complicit. You treat her as if she's a prisoner. While she's suffering, Darmlal is home, he's partying, he's drinking, he's going all over. He's able, he has freedom, and this young lady, instead of her freedom, I say at this point, the government should release this young woman from custody. Release her. You said that you're not charging, release her from custody.
Thank you very much for doing it.
Until justice has no money, has no race, has no creed, has no sex. We are going to continue to raise our voices until justice is dispensed in a way where all of us believe and feel that it is dispensed equally for all of us, regardless of color, class, or creed. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we will not be silent. We have been silent for too long. We have been accepted around and right for too long. We have to be here. Not for you, but for these ladies. They must not wrong thinking that wrong is right. They must not wrong thinking. No amount of resignation will silence us on this matter. No amount of I resign from Parliament will silence us on this matter because this is a cruel and a demonic issue. This is a brutal allegation.
Demonic.
I cannot make myself even read all that
Sister said demonic.
regarding the allegation. It is too painful for me to read. And so I don't understand how there's no charge. I don't understand why there was a need for more evidence. I don't understand. And that's why I'm here. Because I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm upset. Like so many of us. And so we can share our voice. We can share our views. Mr. Wills. I'm upset. And I'm angry. Share your views. I'm upset and I'm angry. So be angry by yourself. The big question we need to ask ourselves and ask those in authority: where is the young woman?
Release her.
Release her now. Where is the victim? Release her now.
We don't know what you have done to her. We don't know where she is.
Release her now. Release. Release her now. Release her now! Release her now! Release her now!
All right, the usual hiccups. You guys don't go anywhere. We are definitely on the ball, and so just don't go anywhere. Um, I see you guys. I see you guys are watching to see who is there and who's not. The hey, Guyanese are not easy. I see you guys are counting, which is good. It simply means that you guys are beginning to suss out, as we say in Guyana, those who are true to what they're doing. You guys are indeed sussing out those who are true to what they are doing, those who are really true to the cause, and those who are just there because, if you know what I mean. And this is not time for dotishness. This is not time to step in and take a photo and beat out. And now is not time for them nonsense. This is real struggle, and this is the time that you get to see those who are definitely into the real struggle. Now, I'm not sure what's happening, but it looks as though let's try to see what's going on the ground. We have lost that feed. So my apologies. We have lost that feed. Again, we have lost that feed. I'm looking at some of your comments, and some of you say that I love to throw shades, and maybe I should open some sort of shade factory, right? A shade factory. Good morning to all of you. If you are in Georgetown and you can head down to Square of the Revolution, head down there. But we need to find out what is happening with the protest. I'm seeing some of your comments. I'm seeing some of your Facebook page post. Otto Martin says PPP judgment on you. PPP judgment on you. Lots of people, and this is across political um, party line, even though we see some of the French crappos and thing doing their thing. These are things that are expected by and from the trench crappos. Stupidity. That's all they know. The trench crappos. Stupidity. Carl Monroe, good morning, or is it afternoon? I see your comment. They can't speak. Special benefits disappear. True. Some of them in the opposition can speak because special benefits will disappear. Special benefits will disappear. And that is so true. Um, so, but we are definitely watching. We are watching here at 107.1 FM. We want to bring that protest live again for you. And don't forget tomorrow, the Secretary of State Blinken will blink into Guyana. And let me just say that I suspect that Irfan Ali was told directly by someone maybe high up in the U.S. Embassy. Who knows? Who knows? Um, who knows? Someone high up in the embassy. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, who knows? But someone high up in the embassy who instructed them that he has to go. Then we see an idiot by the name of Nazudul coming with a dull comment about the girl needs this soap opera. This is not a soap opera. Nazudil Ali, if it was your daughter or your niece or somebody close to you, you wouldn't have been talking this trash but soap opera. Get the hell out of here. Come on, get out of here. You see, this is a stupidity with these people. Stupidity. Um, where they hop in and they hop in and they come with these silly statements and and basically think that what is happening out there is basically soap opera and the girl wishes and all these things. That's what they do. That's what these nimakaram do. You know, these nimakaram like Nazudul or Nazul Dunce. That is what they do. They have nothing better to say, nothing better to do with their time, but to pop on the people's stuff and make these silly comments. That is what they are about. And we know who these Nimakaram, these Katahars are. We know who they are. But that's just what it is, all right? If you're now joining us, though, my name is Mark Benshap, and yeah, it's sorry about that, but the live feed out there in Guyana is over with for now. We will be monitoring the situation, because sometimes when people pop up at the protests, because they get people the Pope protest, just like the Pope wake and wedding house. And then when they don't get things go their way, they start to complain behind the scenes to the idiotic set of individuals about who get, who give, who time, and who publish, who thing, and who in carry, who. Look, that was not time for them crap. This is not a baby show. This is not a fashion show. This is real struggle. And we saw those women out there in the rain, and we must focus on that. It's not time to we give kudos to those women in the rain. So kudos to all of them. I'm not sure what the next move is, but I'd want to find out what's happening. What is happening with the protest / discussion as to the way forward. Blinken, the Secretary of State, as I mentioned earlier, is due in Guyana tomorrow. Whether there's going to be a protest or not, so that we all are big people. We could also assume that by now the Secretary of State, U.S. Secretary of State Blinken, is well aware as to what's happening in Guyana, because these visits, they have their advanced men already on the ground. Their Secret Service guys are already on the ground, I assume, doing their thing and preparing for the visit. Then we get another idiot by the name of Intaz. You should name idiot. And these are all supposedly guys with Muslim names, Jamal Aziz, what's going on with these fake Muslim guys coming out with their fake? Intaz Hussein saying, through his lawyers, he maintained innocence. So what part of that you don't understand? What an idiotic statement. Lemon, can we just give him the quick block and let him get out of here? These guys are really a bunch of silly guys. You wonder whether they went to nursery school and dropped out on the first day. On the first day in nursery school, they just dropped out. They just dropped out. That's it. All right. Again, we're trying to figure out what's happening on the ground. Let me just probably try to make a quick call and find out what's happening. And I'll be right back with you guys right after this. Don't go anywhere, guys. We are right here. We want to carry everything live for you. So we'll take a quick break.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Mr. Watts, he is armed himself shots. Watch it, tear gas. Live rounds. Also, I can see that.
Just for Quendon!
The man is a boxer, man. I like your put in the boxer, man, to do that.
But since my cousin there, you know you come up the East Coast.
You listen to me.
Right? You know you come up the East Coast.
You listen to me now.
You gotta listen to me too, man.
I am listening to
Right?
you.
Now, I see you on the East Coast. The day when they get a protest of them, the next day, that's when you see one bigger heads come up to talk to my family. Right? And that's bad. If you didn't do a protest, you want to see nobody for justice. You see? I'm not holding back nothing. I'm not holding back nothing. I just need justice for my family.
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye, who tell the truth? Mark Brenscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Brenscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Brenscop, straight up from the root. Mark Brenscop, who tell the truth? Mark Brenscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Brenscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Brenscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benson, stop I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, and SCAP stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benson, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benson, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benson, straight up from the root. Mark Benson, who tell the truth? Mark Benson, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benson, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benson, straight up from the root. Mark Benson, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Ben Scap upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and pon the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal them. Who tell the truth? Mark Benson, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benson, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benson, straight up from the root. Mark Benson, who tell the truth? Mark Benson, defend the ghetto youth. With another one, straight up, blackness I am. Who tell the truth? Mark Benson, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benson, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benson, straight up from the root. Mark Benson, who tell the truth? Mark Benson, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benson, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benson, straight up from the root. Mark Benson, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, and SCAP stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Who tell the truth? Mark Benson, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benson, radio station is the truth. Mark Benson.
All right, welcome back to Straight Up. Well, not really Straight Up, but on 107.1 FM. Still awaiting word on the, I know they're still there on the ground, let's just, as soon as you guys see a trench crapo, just bring it to our attention. Just bring the trench crapo to our operator. Just dash the trench crapo in the trench. That's where they belong, because they have no shame. Some of them have no photograph on their Facebook, profile. They are a bunch of lunatics. That's what they are. Evil people. Evil people. Instead for them to go out there and join those women and those men out there, let them go out and join them. A bunch of evil men and possibly women who are defending the PPP and who are defending Dharamlal. Evil people. Evil. We can see it how they're right alone. Evil people. But let's not stress over them, right? They are not really worth it. I have seen one particular so-called chutney singer with a fake Trinidadian accent talking, but again, spit in their face. You see Granger and the ministers and all of them spit in their face. With a fake, you could tell that he's a dunce spot, right? A fake accent. Now, the other day, fake again, he come out fake. These guys, are they really? Well, that's another story. Whether they're men or not, that's another story. But fake individual, fake Trini accent. Some of them living, with fake documents in the US and all nonsense, start telling people about fake and this. Anyways, good. So now that we get that out of the way, let us stay focused. Focus, guys. The DPP. Let me get your take on the DPP, because we know that they watch. Let me get your take on the DPP. How many of you guys are of the view that the DPP ga go, as we say in Guyana. And those of you who are not Guyanese who don't understand what ga go means, somebody explain to them in the comment section when we say the DPP ga go. How many of you guys, let us take a vote here now that the DPP ga go. The DPP ga go. And if you're non-Guyanese and you hear this word ga go, it simply means has to go. The DPP has to go. But in Guyana, we say ga go, right? Ga go, right? Seriously, they might have some folks from the State Department watching, maybe Secretary of State Blinken himself. And if Mr. Blinken is watching, repeat, ga go, right? Ga go. Or Sarah Anlin, U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, if she's watching, she probably, ga go, ga go. The DPP ga go. It means she has to go. All right, I'm watching, I'm reading some of your comments because the DPP has to go. We're not going to be diverted at all. We're not going to be distracted at all by these PPP Looney Tunes. And I just wish we can just hear the news that Secretary of State Blinken has canceled his visit to Guyana. But then again, oil is very important too, right? Um, but I can we how many of you guys think that Secretary of State Blinken could possibly return and not go to Guyana tomorrow? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. But these things are possible. These things are possible. The other thing, and we've got to focus in Essequibo as well with this guy. We got to focus on this commander, this so-called police commander. He allegedly interfered with the matter. Allegedly interfered with the matter. So we basically have to pay attention to what is happening. We cannot allow this guy, this so-called police commander, to continue in that position. We just cannot allow that to happen at all. These people are evil people. They are evil people. The DPP cannot sit there any longer. People have lost their trust and confidence in the DPP chambers. Most people have not had trust nor confidence in this woman here. She has to go. Shalimar Hack has to go. Shalimar Hack, and we're doing our own protest right here on 107.1 FM. Shalimar Hack has to go. And if you notice how we operate, right, we're not bothered about whether we get state ads, which we don't, or whether whatever who wants to support or advertise. We are not bothered about that. We believe in 107.1, we believe in justice for the people. And so we're not going to beat around the bush on issues, whether Jack Deere or Irfan, they like it or not. We are not going to beat around on the issues. Shalimar Haq, the time has come for her to go. Now, her position is a constitutional position. And anyone who holds that position cannot be removed by anyone who sits there as the president. Nobody can remove this person right now because it's a constitutional position. But she can be removed, or whoever sits in that position can be removed for corruption and all manner of different things. There is a way that they can be removed. But for anybody who sits in the office of the president to fire her or remove her like that, it is impossible to do so. And the time has come for these positions. Not any Paku could go and sit, or evil persons should be allowed to sit in these positions. And the time has come for us to probably reform the entire system. One person gets to decide. One person gets to decide on all the serious matters, whether to withdraw, whether to continue with charges, or whatever. And this is wrong in modern times. What I do know is that she pulled a gangster move. She pulled a gangster move on the previous administration. She received senior counsel title and was supposed to have taken a position as judge in the high court, but she gangster Ramjatan and them, right? She gangster them. She pulled a fast gangster move on them. She took her senior counsel position and refused to go up in the high court as a judge, so that the other person who was there as deputy director before, Barlow, Joanne Barlow, would have assumed the office as DPP. But Shalimar Haq pulled a gangster move on Ramjatan and the coalition. She pulled a gangster move. So she is, in fact, a political gangster. That is who she is. That is what she's about. Yes, Morna Grandmama. She pulled a gangster move on them. Let's head straight to Caesar. Caesar is becoming the Don Lemon of Ben Shop Radio. And you could be a Chris Como too, right? Good morning, sir. How are you? You saw earlier the women protesting. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Mark, and good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers out there, freedom fighters. We continue this fight. Yes, Mark, the women are doing an excellent job. They are keeping, the iron in the fires. They're keeping that flame burning. They're out there. They want more than just his resignation, and I totally agree with them. The case is not over because he resigned. It's not over. And then what I'm hearing, that this young lady may be in custody, that is totally wrong and inconsistent with the laws. So I don't know what's happening in Guyana at the present moment there, but that is totally wrong. Why is she in custody? She should not be in custody. She's the victim here. She was victimized. She's only 16 years old. Why is she going through all this trauma? That's to show you where we are as a country. That's why we have to keep protesting. That's why. It is totally
Absolutely.
wrong, Mark. And listen, I am in line with the people here. And if you ask me, the people should not stop protesting until there is a new government in Guyana. Okay? The entire government, Mark. It's not for this, it's not for our country. We are here to take back our country. This lawlessness has got to stop.
The lawlessness has got to stop. People are definitely upset with the situation. Tomorrow, tomorrow we are expecting the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, to be in Guyana with his Undersecretary or Deputy Secretary of State, U.S. Secretary of State Brian Nichols. Nichols will be there as well. Top ranking African American will be accompanying Blinken tomorrow, assuming that we're assuming that that visit is still on. We haven't heard anything to contradict that. So we can just assume that, yes, he is going to be visiting Guyana tomorrow. That's Secretary of State Blinken. Once this continues, we are all certain that Mr. Blinken will get to see firsthand the protest in Guyana. Your take on that?
Well, Mark, I think he should. I think he should, see the protests firsthand. Because listen, like I said before, I am not sure if Mr. Blinken would be meeting with the opposition when he comes on this 4 hours visit. Now, mind you, the visit is only for 4 hours here. So I'm not sure if he's going to be meeting with the opposition. And if he's not meeting with the opposition, the voices of the Guyanese people would never be heard, because this government will never, ever speak on behalf of the people of Guyana. So therefore, if the people come out and protest, their voices will definitely be heard, and they will definitely be seen, and he would get a good understanding as to what is happening in this oil rich country that everyone, including the United States of America, is investing in. That's why our borders in the United States is always loaded with people trying to come into the country because of these same types of behavior. Everybody just go into countries for their financial needs, and they do not address the needs of the people. The people in these countries are punishing, okay? Because all these financial deals that are being made with a criminal organization that does not have, you know, the Guyanese people at heart. And I'm going to say this. as a Guyanese and for the people. We are not prepared to pay back all these loans that this government, this criminal organization is taking out on our behalf because we did not agree to them and we are not getting anything from them. So Mark, I don't know what's going to happen in the long run here, but for these investors that are coming and investing Guyana, I'm going to tell you to hold your investment for now because we have a government in Guyana that has been installed. It was not a duly elected government. The government that was duly elected is now in opposition, thanks to CARICOM and the Western world. Over
You
to you,
know,
Mark.
point well taken there, Mr. Caesar. It's 2 minutes after 1 o'clock. If you have now joined us, the protest action has concluded, at least so far. We're still awaiting maybe word if they are going to continue with the protest so that we can carry it live for you right here on 107.1 FM. Mr. Caesar is making some valid points. But let me just remind you guys that Mr. Blinken is due to be in Guyana tomorrow for 4 hours. Someone is asking, what can 4 hours do? Well, here's what's going to happen. His advance team is already on the ground in Guyana. We are told that they have maybe just a couple of billboards, not the type of billboards that we saw millions of dollars spent, taxpayers' money spent when that guy who wanted Trump to remain in office through illegal means, Pompeo, was in Guyana. You thought that Pompeo went and purchased Guyana. This is the same Pompeo, Wayne. Let us remind our people about this Pompeo, who was in Guyana in, I believe, September, or maybe August, of 2020. Maybe August of 2020. This is what the same guy said when Trump lost the election. So we could understand the corruption that happened in Guyana through Mike Pompeo.
Hi.
Is the State Department currently preparing to engage with the Biden transition team? And if not, at what point does a delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. All right, we're ready. The world is watching what's taking place here. We're going to count all the votes. When the process is complete, there'll be electors selected. There's a process. The Constitution lays it out pretty clearly. The world should have every confidence that the transition necessary to make sure that the State Department is functional today, successful today, and successful with the president who's in office on January 20th, mid-afternoon, will also be successful. I went through a transition on the front, and I've been on the other side of this. I'm very confident that we will do all the things that are necessary to make sure that the government, the United States government, will continue to perform its national security function as we go forward.
So you believe there's widespread voter fraud, that the reports that we're getting from Pennsylvania, from Michigan, showing vote totals in massive leads or significant leads with 99% reporting are going to be overturned, and that the United States failed to conduct a fraudulent free election?
Rich, I'm the Secretary of State. I'm getting calls from all across the world. These people are watching our election. They understand that we have a legal process. They understand that this takes time, right? It took us 37.
Biden won the elections, but this guy was never prepared to give up at all. We have never seen that in the history of U.S. politics. Never. Where someone else won the elections, and this guy, Mike Pompeo, was saying that there would be a second swearing in of Trump. I don't know. This was the guy who went to Guyana. And billboards all across on the East Bank and so forth coming from the airport. But I'm told that they got just one or two hurriedly made billboard for a couple of billboards for for Anthony Blinken, the current U.S. Secretary of State, with just a couple of flags splattered around the place. What do you think he is going to Guyana to achieve? I noticed that that's a question coming from some folks. Definitely, he's not going to Guyana to stand up and fight for the opposition or stand up and fight for people who are being oppressed. he might call for justice or whatever, and fair play and democracy and so forth. But that's not the agenda he's going there for. He's going there to ensure that there is an American agenda, because that's whose interests he's representing, the American people, not Guyanese people. Not Guyanese people, but the American people. Your take on his agenda in Guyana.
Well, Mark, I would say that his agenda would be more so financial in nature. Um, Also, of course, there's going to be, a little bit of politics in there, but not anything pertaining too much to the Guyanese people, because he would look at what's going on in Guyana, to be an internal issue more so. But what's quite confusing is that if he would look at it as an internal issue more so, why can't the US ambassador, or why would the US ambassador not look at it in the same way? Because she was totally involved in our elections. So if you're going to be involved in issues pertaining to Guyana from a political standpoint, and issues that is going to directly affect the people of Guyana, then you need to be involved from a holistic basis, not when you see it convenient to you, as in our electoral process. So, that's concerning. And, I don't know how much information is going to be relayed to us, because what I find, Mark, is that when these people come to Guyana, you understand, these meetings are done behind closed doors. It's not a public press conference that we can listen to and, get an understanding as to what's being discussed and what's going on. Everything happens behind closed doors. And I don't think that that's fair to the Guyanese people to have, someone of the magnitude of the Secretary of State coming to Guyana, meeting with the government, though the government is an installed government, but the meeting is done behind closed doors. Now, that's a further lack of transparency right there. So I would wait to see exactly what, the scope of the meeting would be. And I would hope at some point that, even if the meeting is not live, that we are given, some sort of information, you know, as to what was entailed in the meeting. But I would hope that they could be
Absolutely,
transparent to
I'm
the
sure that we
Guyanese
will
people
get it.
once and for all.
I'm sure that we will get that information as quickly as possible through the U.S. State Department, and not necessarily through the Guyana installed corrupt regime. But Mr. Blinken is certainly going to be there to talk about the American interest, and the interest of the Guyanese people can only be properly addressed through what we are seeing. These women out there, those genuine women who are concerned about the struggle, are going to be out there. I'm assuming, I'm not letting any cat out of the bag or whatever, but Blinken is going to be met with some sort of protest on the ground. And that protest is basically to say to him, Secretary of State Blinken, all is not well in Guyana. Guyana has a corrupt regime. Guyana has a regime that oppresses its people. Guyana has a regime that persecutes its people, and so forth and so on. Guyana has a regime that is racist with most of its policies and so forth. And this guy, Brian Nichols, is going to be there as well. He is responsible for the Western Hemispheric affairs for the U.S. State Department. Ambassador Brian Nichols, he's also served as ambassador in Peru from 2014, I believe, to 2018, and then he was sent as a U.S. ambassador to Zimbabwe. He's now responsible for the Western Hemisphere. And so Ambassador Brian Nichols is going to be accompanying U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, in that meeting. We are hoping that Mr. Ambassador Nichols will also stop and get the ears of Mr. Blinken to say that they must meet with members of the opposition, not just government members, people who have been installed in the PPP regime, those corrupt individuals, but people are calling on Mr. Blinn and Ambassador Nichols that they should meet with members of the opposition. Again, over to you, Mr. Caesar.
And Mark, I am totally in agreement with you on this. Listen, it's only we understand that they're only going to be there for 4 hours. I say if you want, you meet with both at the same time, both the government, the installed government, and the opposition simultaneously, and get a feel from both sides as to what's happening in Guyana, because the government of Guyana, the installed government of Guyana, have no defense whatsoever for what they are doing. They are lawless in nature, flat out lawless in nature. They have done nothing for the people of Guyana. All they have done is built out infrastructure that is going. Listen, all this infrastructure that's going into Guyana and all this stuff. It's basically for the oil companies to move around their big rigs and all these. Listen, it's a convenient for the Guyanese. A convenience for the Guyanese people to be able to use the roads and the infrastructure that's going in now. You understand me? It's built out there for these big companies in Guyana. It's not for the people, okay? But it's there so the people will have to use it. So these people that are, listen, Mark, this delegation that's coming in to Guyana, I know the meeting may be financial in nature, but I think they need to discuss Guyana from a holistic perspective and not
They
just merely from a
certainly do. They
financial
do need to.
perspective.
They do need to, because lots and lots of human rights violations in Guyana. Lots of human rights violations. People are being persecuted. We see corruption in the DPP's office. We see corruption in the Guyana police force, especially with the questionable conduct of that commander out there in Essequibo, who allegedly interfered with the investigations of the rape allegations made by that little girl. We are seeing a corrupt regime. And a lot of people are questioning, why is it that the US Secretary of State is going to sit with a bunch of corrupt individuals there in the PPP and discuss business with them when the PPP is ill-treating and they're persecuting citizens, especially members of the opposition. We see that there's no democracy in parliament. There's no freedom, actual freedom of the press. There cannot be freedom of the press when media houses such as 107.1 FM and others are being targeted, are being starved of taxpayers' money in terms of ads and so forth and so on. That is not freedom of the press. That is not freedom of democracy. That is not democracy. That is not freedom of speech. Because when you try to muzzle people, you muzzle them, you attempt to muzzle them in so many ways. And the PPP is notorious in doing that. These are the things that Secretary of State Anthony Blinken will have to know. And he can only know that, not by some cables being sent to the US State Department. He can only know that if he engages with the opposition, strong, competent members of the opposition, not those who may just show up just to take a quick photograph and post it on their Facebook page. We don't believe in that sort of politics. We believe in real politics, sensible politics, not fashion show politics. And so Mr. Blinken will have to make that decision because, according to a statement from the US State Department, he will be meeting with government officials alone. We haven't seen anything that they will be meeting, that he will be meeting with opposition persons and these sort of things. We here at 107.1 FM are saying that Mr. Blinken and Ambassador Brian Nichols should meet with leaders of the opposition as well. And I hope the leaders of the opposition will already or have already gotten a booklet, a small booklet of information information, important, whether it's 4, 5, 6 pages or whatever, to present to Ambassador Nichols and U.S. Secretary of State, Mr. Blinken. Mr. Caesar. Sorry that I went on for long, but again, we are calling on Ambassador Nichols and Secretary of State, U.S. Secretary of State Blinken, to have an audience with the opposition members, not an audience with the corrupt members of the private sector commission. No audience with them. Sorry about that, Mr. Caesar. Over to you.
Yeah, well, Mark, look, when you say that, Mr. Blinken and Mr. Nichols will be meeting with government officials, the opposition is a part of the government, although they've been locked out,
Cabinet.
for the most
I
part.
should.
You're part of the cabinet, sorry.
It says specifically cabinet. And you are
Cabinet,
correct.
yes,
The
correct.
opposition is part of the government, the regime, but the opposition is not part of cabinet. But what Mr.
Cabinet,
Blinken's
correct.
statement said is that they will be meeting with members of the cabinet. But go
Again,
ahead, sir.
Mark,
Sorry about that.
again, Mark, when they're going to be meeting with members of the cabinet, they're only going to be meeting with a faction, members that represents a faction of the Guyanese people. And that is totally inconsistent and it is wrong. Okay? It is wrong. I'm going to say it plain on this program. It is wrong. All right? The opposition represents a faction of the country, and a faction of the country that is being marginalized and ill treated. Okay? So, again, Mark, this comes back to business decisions being made that does not include the opposition having a say. And that is wrong because that's not the way it happens in the United States of America. It is not the way. That's why I'm saying when we speak of democracy, does democracy represent one thing, or or you could have different types of democracies here? Because I cannot see how you could call Guyana democracy. There is no way we can call Guyana democracy, if the Secretary of State is going to just come and meet with one faction, right? He needs to engage the opposition. The opposition needs to
I
be
noticed
a part of the discussion here.
there's a comment. I noticed there's a comment by, sorry about that,
Go
Wayne, but
ahead,
there's
Mark.
a comment by Ronier Caesar, who's saying here opposition represents the largest faction of our country, which is true because the opposition, the coalition, won the 2020 elections. And by virtue of that, they represent the largest faction, political faction of our country, voting bloc. That is so correct. Thank you, Ronier. I subscribe to that view as well. Joan Murray is saying oil block, more and more oil. Look, we can't blame Mr. Blinken and Mr. Brian Nichols for their visit to Guyana to represent the American interest. The American interest. And they have some of those politicians, some of them, mind you, in the opposition, who love to say that it is Guyana's problem and we got to fix our problem. Some of them, one or two of them, running around the place lying to people that the U.S. Embassy wants them to be the presidential candidate. The White House wants them to be the president. They got to stop with that nonsense. They got to stop lying to the people. I'm sorry that I had to go that route. It's kind of like relevant, but Mr. Blinken is going to be in Guyana tomorrow, and I am told that some people will register their concerns in a respectful manner to Mr. Blinken, so Mr. Blinken can read some placards. If he doesn't want to meet with the opposition, at least he will meet with some protesters who will have some nice placards for him to read about things happening in Guyana. And some of those things he probably may not have had the opportunity to read via the daily cables from Guyana. So this morning's protest, what is your take on what you saw there and those women in the rain?
Mark, those women are steadfast. They are not good. Listen, A lot of times when people give up fights, man, and that's the thing that I love with our Guyanese women, man. They never give up. They take the impossible and they make it possible. They will not stop, Mark. Women will not stop. They'll get up every morning and they'll go out there and they'll protest. Rain, sun, sleet, snow, whatever it is, they're going to get up and they're going to go. And I encourage the men in Guyana to stand beside those women in protest. Be there to represent them. I recall that issue in Mocha where that woman was dragged through the mud. There was no men there. Nobody jumping to our aid. And Mark, before I forget this, I just want to say this. It's quite a norm for the rich countries, the economically rich countries, to negotiate with governments that has no character because first of all they have information on them, and secondly, and the second one is more important, they're going to get an awesome deal because those governments are going to oppress and suppress the people. And these behaviors, Mark, is wrong. Okay, while Mr. Blinken is going to come into Guyana and he said he's going to speak to the cabinet only, I'll take that with a grain of salt. But I'm going to say this: the United States is not going to select who is going to be the government in Guyana. That is wrong. The people of Guyana have to select their government. The people of Guyana have to select who they want to represent them. Listen, when we see wrongs in this world, man, we have to speak to it. We have to speak to it, Mark. This is what would have happened over 23 years. That's why we have this monstrous PPP regime here right now. Because we were not speaking to their wrongs the way we should have. We have to stop this. The people of Guyana is going to determine who their government is going to be. No external force should not be interfering with our electoral process. Does the people of Guyana interfere with the electoral process in the US or any of these large economies? Listen, man, in this world, everyone has to live. I rest my case,
You know,
Mark, over to you.
thank you so much. But sometimes, things do happen, but I feel that one or two of those individuals in the opposition who are roaming around the place, pretending that they are worth more than what it is, and lying to people that, oh, the US wants them to be the presidential candidate in the US. And those are the people who just don't do anything. They don't go out, they don't work, they hardly meet with the people, they just pop up for a quick selfie, do a quick handout, and they disappear. They don't put in the work, they are not committed, and they are not for the people. So I hope that whoever is doing that, and they know themselves, should desist from doing that, because we are going to let the people know who they are, and the sort of gangster rule, so-called gangster rule, they're trying to pull on the people in Guyana. It is not. It is not. We are not prepared to call names now, but one of these days we'll go into a beauty salon, a so-called beauty salon, and start calling names. But we're looking at the time, Mr. Caesar, and again, we want to thank those brave women who went out there in the rain and protested. Simona Brooms, we saw her there. We saw Lurleen Nestor. Kudos to those two. We saw Annette Ferguson. We saw the General Secretary of the People's National Congress, who is always out there as well. General Secretary of the People's National Congress. Let me see how many of our listeners know who that person is. Let's see if Janet Elias, knows who the General Secretary of the People's National Congress Reform is. And you'll win yourself a prize right here on 107.1 FM of $13. $13. I know Wayne want to smile when I keep mentioning $13. $13. So and others who are out there today. We saw them. Ganesh Mahipal, kudos to Ganesh. Ganesh was out there also in the rain. Miss Williams, somebody said Miss Williams. Naomi Drucker say Don Hastings, all of you guys, Anand Prasad, all of you guys, Sandra Goodluck, all of you guys have won, and therefore I get to keep the $13. But how that made you feel? We are seeing all these, including Sherrod, ring the bell. Sherrod was out there. We gotta give kudos to these folks who are constantly out there. We saw one and two of them drop by today, special guests, right? I don't like the special guests, kind of like this special appearance, and then they feel that they are the privileged few and that they got to be given airtime. And if they're not given airtime, they cry like little babies. Oh, who take airtime from them? Sorry about that, Mr. Caesar. Sometimes I get a bit carried away, but your
That's
thoughts
fine,
on when
Mark.
you saw that protest today. Go ahead, sir. Your thoughts again.
Well, Mark, my thoughts is that, we are getting this thing right. Okay, we are on one accord. There's no egos involved. We need to be egoless when it comes down to these protests. We need to assemble as one unit, as one body. Okay, because we know the adversary we are going up against here. And I was very, very happy to see, Mr. Darren Wade. We had a lot of different people out there. I didn't see Apostle London today.
You did mention. Sorry, you did mention. You, now that you've mentioned, sorry, Darren Wade, we also got to give kudos to Darren Wade. He's a young, vibrant lawyer, a lawyer who is in the courtroom, who does the people's business, who understands the people's business there on the ground. And those are the kind of lawyers that we love to see on the ground, because when they speak, when Darren Wade speaks as a lawyer, we know that he is a lawyer for the people on the ground. He understands the issues of the people. He's not one of them who go and make promise and then never turn up back for people. Oh gosh, I want to talk so much, but I'm fasting today. I'm fasting. So yes, kudos to Darren Wade as well. Kudos to him.
Yeah, and Mark, you say that I have a little grading system that I have here, that I try to grade the MPs and these guys that are out in the public. And
So we going in
Darren
for
Wade,
grading now?
no,
Great.
but Darren Wade, I've got him checked off for A plus, man. The guy was in Pleasance. He's everywhere. He's omnipresent. That's
Speaking
to
of
show.
speaking
That's
of
to show.
Pleasance, you give him kudos for Pleasance. When you're done with grading, when you're finished with your grading, we'll find out before we go what's happening in Pleasance. But go ahead with your grading, please.
Oh, you want me to grade? You want me to give grades now?
Oh no no no! Oh, I thought you're done. I thought you.
Oh, no, no, no.
I give. I
I know
give.
that I know that at some point we're gonna go over grading, so I've already prepared
Absolutely.
it for you. I mean,
They get
I
some.
mean,
They get some. I want to give a F to failing grade two. They get some. I want to give a T if there's any T. Trying, right? I would give my grade for Darren. I will give Darren a B plus, right? And this is no disrespect to your A grade. I'll give him a B plus. I'll give Darren, and I'll explain later on why I give Darren a B plus. Darren get a B plus from me, but you give him an A plus. But I want to commend Darren Wade, yes, for being there on the ground as well. There are others I want to give a B plus, a B. I want to give others a little A. But they get some I want to give F to, failing grade two. I
well,
gotta
I
do
only
my
have
hair when I'm done.
I only have one F. I only have one F that I would have given out. But I do have D's in there. I think it's two D's.
Two. All right.
Yeah. And then listen, Mark, listen, I like to call out my high scorers, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna call out Miss Dawn Hastings Williams because I would have given her an A. She would have
I,
gotten
gi-
an
I
A
give
from
I
me.
give her an A too. I give her an A.
Oh,
It's gonna be
beautiful.
difficult.
Beautiful.
It's gonna be difficult for somebody to get an A plus from me. But go
Yeah,
ahead
I
though.
know. I know. You're very tough with grading. I know that, Mark. I know that. And my good friend also, Miss Annette Ferguson, she was down at a B and she's moved up now to an A minus. Okay, so I got to give a call out to Annette. Annette, good movement. Keep the move on. You're going
Annette,
upwards.
Annette has been for me a C minus, but now I get her at a C plus.
Okay, Mark, push that to a B soon. She's working.
C
Okay?
plus. But yes, she is working, and I say hats off to
Yes.
us, Annette. I give Annette a C plus. She was at a C minus because we weren't seeing her in places where we should have seen her. But now we're seeing her. I move her from a C minus to a C plus. Kudos, Annette Ferguson. Let's move on down the line.
You want
What
to
about?
go?
I
You
noticed
want to keep.
Cathy Hughes was there. I think I saw Cathy today.
Yes. I have Kathy at a B minus moving towards a B.
Man, if I were in your class, I'd have drop out your class right away. Cause you just plucking out
Give
grades
good
just like that
grades.
and giving people all them
Mm-hmm.
grades. I'd have loved to be. I'd have passed all your subjects there, man. You're kind today to some
Well,
people.
these are grades to these are grades, not just grades, but grades to also encourage people. Okay, encourage people. I have Amansa Walton this year. I have her at a B minus, and the only reason for that, I feel like if her talent is being underused, and I would like to see her, be more frontal. She tends to capture an audience whenever she is before the cameras or before the microphones, and I would like to see that more.
It depends.
So
It depends on what audience, capturing an audience and keeping an audience. You give, who is it, Amanza? You said you give her a B?
I give her a B minus, moving towards a B. I just need
A
to
B
see her
minus.
more. Yes.
Annette, what's her name? Amanza
Yes.
gets a C minus from me. Um,
Okay.
I need to see politicians or opposition politicians more involved, not just hop on a scene kind of thing, more involved with the people genuinely. And I don't think I'm seeing that from Amanza being genuine. I'm just not seeing that. So she gets a C minus from me. But let's go on. Cathy Hughes, what grade you give Cathy Hughes?
I give Kathy a B minus, moving towards a B. She's just listen, Mark. Listen. With Kathy, I just need to see her more. I feel like if Kathy can be very, very, very impactful, okay, she's a brilliant individual, and also given the person who she's married to, that could make her even more impactful, might I say.
You see, I don't want Naomi Drucker is saying that, and this is where people insult people's intelligence that they are not on the ground. And some believe that because people are not on the ground, mean that they don't have an understanding as to what's going on. Please don't try to insult my intelligence or anybody by telling them they're not on the ground. Some of us who are not on the ground know more than some of you who are on the ground. So let's not go that route. We are grading MPs. MPs, we are grading. MPs. Simona Brooms is not an MP. We're grading MPs. I give because we don't see Cathy Hughes often out there in protest and so forth and so on. And I like diehard people in the struggle. And so I give Cathy Hughes a C minus. It doesn't say that she's not trying. She's trying, but she gets a C minus from me. Continue, sir. Who else we got a grade? Who else was out there? Ganesh was out there today.
Oh, Ganesh. Yeah, Ganesh is omnipresent, man. Ganesh gets an A from me. I know you would
Ganesh
not
gets
want to
an A
believe
from
it,
you.
Mark. Yes, and I might as well go ahead and also say the Honorable Royce Ford also would have gotten an A from me. So
All
here
right,
you have two
I'll
to
get
deal
to
with.
Roysdale shortly, but who else you give an A to? Ganesh?
Ganesh got an A, yes, he did.
I give Ganesh a B. I give Ganesh a B.
Mark,
Ganesh
could you
is
please
there,
lay down
yes,
your
but what
reasons?
I'm looking for is I'm looking for consistency, right? Ganesh is a hard hitter, yes, but I need to see consistency. And if Ganesh could continue to be consistent, then in the next month time, by the end of this month, maybe I'll move that B to a B plus for Ganesh. But for now, he gets a B from me. Roysdale Ford, He's out there, yes. A lot of articles and a lot of press releases, hard-hitting press release against the regime. And so, but we need to see more of Roysdale out there as well. And I mean, it's not like he's not in protest, but I'm not saying that every time there's a protest, members of parliament got to be there. But what we do know is that every time there's a protest, there's always one or two of them just there for a quick selfie, take a picture, and they go on their way. I'm not rating those people, giving them any ratings. But with Roysdale Ford, more of a presence of a Roysdale Ford at the protest. And with that, I will move him up to an A. But for now, he gets a B plus from me.
Okay.
Who else can we
Fair
rate
enough.
since?
Fair enough, Mark. Um, I would have given an A grade to Sherrod Duncan, moving towards an A minus though, because I just want to see Sherrod a little bit more outside of the studio on the ground. But I feel like if Sherrod is doing an awesome job. Mark, over to you.
I give Sherrod a B grade. Um, I will even up it to a B plus, because we've got to be fair. Even though there are times that he infringes in our time on 107, especially when we're on, I don't hold grudges. I'd like to give Jack his jacket. What I see in Sherrod is aggression and lots of energy, and he's there on the ground. And I got to give the brother a good grade. So I'll give him a B plus, between a B plus and an A, because it is not easy to do what folks like Sherrod doing every single night and contents and these. It is not easy, and I can't sit here and give him a C minus or a C or a C plus. You got to get a good grade, and I may change the B plus to A if by this evening he doesn't infringe again on our time. But if he does, right? But Sherrod gets a good grade from me, though. He gets a good grade from me. Yeah, he gets a
All
good
right,
grade. Who else can we grade?
Mark
Somebody's
continuing
grading
here.
Flu Best. Flu
Oh,
Best.
yes, yes,
Your
yes,
grade on
yes.
Flu Best.
A plus. That was noted already.
Why you
A
give her A
plus.
plus?
Oh
Why you
man,
give her A
Mark.
plus?
Mark, she has been engaged in our constituency. She has been there with the whole Mocha situation. Night, day, and in between. Nima Flubest was omnipresent all the time. She is involved. She's
I'm
involved.
smiling, not to cut you. I'm smiling because they get some folks in our comment section saying that I'm cheating. Right.
Mark
But
cheating.
go ahead, Mr. Caesar. Let's hear your Flu Best.
Yeah, no,
Go ahead.
no. Nima Flubest is a good example to all the other MPs, and they should look up to her and follow that same path that she's following. She's very much, Mark, involved in her community, and she's a person of awesome, excellent character, and yes, Nima Flubest is a good example, and I feel like if everyone should, look up to her and follow that same path that she has been, following. Over to you, Mark. I want your grade there because I expect your grade to be mirroring mine, but let's wait and see. With you, we always have to wait and see.
You see, I noticed Francine Cruz. I don't know if this is our regular Francine Cruz. Francine Cruz is saying, who's that dunce giving out grades? Now, I don't know if Francine is talking about me or Francine is talking about you, Wayne Caesar, or if Francine is talking about herself. But I would let members of the audience deal with Francine right now. Let them deal with Francine right now. We're not going to deal with Francine. Francine is just vexed because if I were to give Francine a grade, Francine knows definitely that she'll get a C minus or a D or a F from me. So let's not focus on Francine. Y'all deal with Francine here. Y'all deal with Francine, right? But Nima Flew Best. What grade did you give her?
I gave her an A plus.
I'm giving her a B. I need to see more of her outside of her community. Just Mocha. She's not the MP just for Mocha. And I love the people of Mocha. I've gone there several times, protested in Mocha as well. way before Nima became MP and so forth. But I need to see more of Nima outside of Mocha before I take that B to a B plus. But for now, she gets a B. She deserves that B. But what about Ramjatan?
Ah, boy, that's a
Okay,
tough one.
I got you. I got you.
I'm gonna let you go first on that one, Mark. I'm gonna let you go first on that one. But if you want to hold a little bit, I do have David Patterson in.
Let's hear your grade on David.
Yes, David gets a C minus from me. He is way too talented an individual, to be at a C minus. I feel like if he's underutilized, whenever he is out there at a press conference or anything of that nature, he is very, very impactful.
Let me
But
let
it's
me
not
let me
often.
let
It
me
is not
one
often.
second.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Let me say this to you. I notice some people are after me. They're saying that I'm tough with the grading, and they're saying that I should review the grading for Nima Flu Best. And so I'd like to take that B to a B plus. Hope that satisfies these people because I want to cut it. I want to compromise. I want to give and take. I'm not going to be a hard-headed individual and stick at my B. So for those of you who are protesting, I give Nima Flu Best B plus. Hope that satisfies you guys. Go ahead.
Yes, no, I just handed out my grade for Mr. Patterson, so I'm awaiting your counter.
What grade do you give Patterson?
David got a C minus. And that's not a grade that I want to give him, Mark, but I have to give him that based on performance. We don't give grades based on talent. David is very, very talented. There's no doubt about that. There's no question about it. I have no question about that.
Sherry and Jordan, I give Nima Flu Best a B plus. Y'all don't push me because I can I can jump from 0 to 100 like Norman, bro. Good evening, good night, good day, Mr. Brown. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's grading. It's all in the. Y'all don't take the grading too hard, man. Oh gosh, some of y'all want to come after me, right? What I gave Amanza C minus or something. What y'all got? C minus. Nothing's wrong. I've had a C minus before. I worked my way up. Trust me, they can work their way up too. You give Patterson what?
David got a C minus.
I'm trying to look at that C minus with a straight face.
Hmm.
Okay, so David Patterson got a C minus. We hardly see David. We hardly hear from him. He pops up occasionally. And I can't grade people and give them any big grade if they just pop up occasionally. And for me, I give, and this is a good grade for David Patterson, a really good grade for him. I give him a C minus.
That's the first
A
time,
C
Mark, we would have
minus.
agreed. That's the first time we would have agreed.
I give him a C minus. He needs to do more. We need to see more of him. But wait a minute. Don't forget there are two MPs in Linden. One, Jermaine Figueroa, and the other one is
That's where
some
I
guy
was
that we
going.
hardly
That's
hear
where I
about.
was going.
Some Sears
That's
or Piers or whatever. Let's start
that
with Sears. How do you grade him?
F.
If you
F.
give it that you
And I'm
want
not
an
changing.
MP,
That's the F I had. F. I'm not changing it.
why you give Devon Sears a F, man?
He gets an F from me. He gets an F from me.
Why? Why?
First thing, Mark. Mark. First thing, I I have not really seen Devon Sears. And listen, that F could quickly change. I start seeing Devon Sears. The people start seeing Devon Sears. He starts showing up at press conferences. He starts showing up at protests and these sort of things. Listen, man, we are trying to once again liberate our country. There's no time for games right now, Mark. Okay? You have a position to represent the people. You need to get out there and you need to represent the people. That's your job. Don't take a job that you don't have appetite for. You take a job to serve the people, have an appetite to serve the people. Plain and simple.
Here, you want to hear my grade for Sears?
Yes, sir.
If Sears was in my class, you'd definitely have to repeat that class. Definitely have to repeat that class. He doesn't bring his homework. He's incomplete work. He just shows up whenever we have school parties, and I can't grade him properly. So he's definitely getting way below a F. F if there's an F minus, if there's not an F minus, you get an F minus from me. Fail, 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 fail. A failure as an MP, a failure of the people of Region 10. That's my grade to him. Fail, Devon or Devon Sears. Fail. And this is nothing personal. These grades are nothing personal, guys. So don't take it personal. They could work their way up. Some of them still have time. They could work their way up, right? I once had an incomplete. I had to work my way up. I had a C minus. I had to work my way up. And so I'm grading folks because we expect them to work their way up. That's what we do. We expect them to work their way up. So that guy doesn't pass. He doesn't pass. It's like we're grading them for common entrance. He doesn't pass common entrance. He's like the acting commissioner of police. They fail common entrance. And so what about this other guy here? This other guy,
German Figueroa.
Figueroa.
German gets a solid B from me. He gets a solid B. He's right there, a solid B. He can determine whether it turns to a B minus or it goes up to a B plus or possibly a A. It's totally in Jermaine's hands. But Jermaine has been solid. He's been solid.
Somebody wants to know what I went from a C minus to a C plus, and I was happy, right? So these guys should be happy to get a C minus. Jermaine can do better. He means well. He can do better. And don't get me wrong, he can do better. He has a lot of potential. But I would give Jermaine as of now a C plus. I give Jermaine a C plus. Why? Because I know Jermaine is a bright young man. He can do better, but maybe something is holding him back from doing better. I see some works that he's doing there with some NGO feeding program and so forth. That's good. They're good things. But I need to see him also outside. I don't see him in Ituni. I don't see him in Kokwani. And those are other parts of Region 10 as well, right? Hence my reason for giving him a C+. And his colleague there, Sears, completely failed. But I give him a C+.
Okay, Mark, I do have some more grades out of Linden. And again, we're not just focusing on MPs only, but we're also focusing on people, who have taken leadership roles and who have excelled.
Today we're focusing only on MPs. Only on
You
MPs.
want to focus only on MPs? I think we've went outside of that realm already.
With who?
Okay.
With whom?
Did we not do Simona Brooms? Did we?
No, we're not grading Simona Brooms at all.
Okay.
But if we were to give Simona Brooms a grade, she will get high grade. But we're not grading anybody outside of MP's position right now. But go ahead. Who else has MPs we should grade? What about Vola Lawrence?
Listen, Mark, for me, behind the scenes work doesn't really count unless I can see it. Okay, because you cannot evaluate something that you can't see. Right? I don't see Miss Vola Lawrence. When I heard Miss Vola Lawrence was going back to Parliament, I was very, very excited. But listen, man, with all due respect, and I have a lot of respect for Miss Vola Lawrence, and I know a lot of Guyanese have a lot of respect for her. Mark, this is a job, and it has to be taken seriously. Okay, I have not seen Miss Vola Lawrence. I will have to give her a C minus.
You rough man. You give Valda a C. I see. A C minus.
Yes, sir. You if you want,
Let me
Mark, you
see
can
if we
remind
know.
me. You can remind me of the last time that you have seen Miss Vala Lawrence, out there. We had a protest just earlier this morning. Did you see Miss Vala Lawrence there?
Let me let me say let me say again, Yanet and others, we're just grading MPs. We're not going out of that. We're just grading MPs. Ras Ricardo asking if I graded Amanza. I give Amanza what, a C minus or something like that. That's my grade for Amanza, a C minus. And again, my grades of people, they can work their way up. I've had a C minus before, and I worked my way up to a C plus, right? People can work their way up. Francine Cruz can work her way up too. All of them can work their way up. Now, Valda Lawrence said when she got the position that and I notice people are saying health challenges and so forth. Uh, Health challenges ought not to be an excuse in politics. It's not. If the position requires lots of energy and you are just not there from a health standpoint, well, at some point in time, your health is far more important. And so I'm not going to use health as an excuse. But the Valda that we are seeing now is not the Valda that we knew 10 years ago, and so forth and so on. So you gave her a C what?
A C minus, which I thought was a real good grade. She
Okay,
got the
okay.
benefit of the doubt there.
Let me ask you guys in the audience, what grade should I give? What grade you guys think that I would give? What grade you guys think that I will give Valda Lawrence? Let me see if you guys know me that well. With the time that we have spent, the years that we have spent together. Let me see if you guys know me that well. I'm watching. What grade do you guys think I will give Christine McLean? I'm still waiting. Somebody said B plus. Michael Reed says C. Somebody said D. Somebody said, well, you guys know me very well. So I give her the same grade. You give her a C minus.
Yes.
I give her a C minus also. We need to see more of Miss Valda Lawrence out there. Lots more of her. What about Geeta?
I was getting to that too, Mark. So I really do like Geeta a lot. I do. I would have given Geeta
Why
a
why do
C
you
plus.
like Geeta a lot?
Well, I think, look, Mark, like you would have said, and this is based on some knowledge that I would have gotten from you also, that she was a very, very good magistrate. She was unbiased, she was independent. Those are qualities in both fact and appearance. Those are qualities that I don't like, but I love. Okay? So therefore, I would say Geeta is one of the MPs that I really do like. I know she's had some struggles, Mark, but whenever you have struggles, Mark, there is always room to get up. And listen, when you're down, the only thing you can do is get up. Can't afford to stay down.
When you
Okay?
say
I
when you
just
say she has had some struggles, what sort of, because we all have struggles as politicians. What
right, right,
struggle are
right.
you
No,
talking
I
about?
agree. I agree. Well, Mark, you know
Personal?
the whole thing with the general secretary. Well, it may have been she didn't disclose, and to be honest, she don't have to disclose, right? And you would agree with me on that, right, Mark? If it's personal. But we know that she's had some struggles, right? And listen, I feel like if she's on the road to recovery, and I think that Geeta Chandan has a lot to offer to the party. Sometimes, people need
Mr.
to be
Caesar, Mr.
motivated.
Caesar,
Mark,
Mr.
Mark.
Caesar,
Okay,
Mr.
okay.
Caesar.
Yes, sir.
What is your grade for Geeta?
Okay, so
What's the
you
grade
try.
you're giving
So
Gita? Let's hear.
so guys, Mark is telling me cut the talking. He wants the grade. B minus. I've seen Gita. Gita's been at press conferences. She has been present. You know, look, she could have lost the general secretary position and just disappeared. She have not disappeared, as many would have done. Mark, where is Van West Charles? Where are all these people? Where is Joseph Harmon? Are these true servants of the people? We need to ask ourselves that question. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Mr. Caesar. You want me to answer you where is Dr. Richard Van West Charles right now?
Absolutely, Mark. I would appreciate that answer.
Call Irfan Ali and ask Irfan, where is Van West? They're probably in the same kitchen cooking up some nice duck curry and enjoying themselves.
Across the
But let's
swamp in
get back to
Canada?
yeah, somewhere we are giving MPs grade, guys. We're not outside. How many of you guys just we are not grading people who are not today, maybe some other day. It just so happened that Van West Charles' name came up and Irfan Ali kept flashing. And if Van West is now on the PVP side making money and doing things, well, it's nothing that I can do about it. If he drinking soup now. So Gita gets a C minus from me. Not because you're seeing people 1 and 2 times at the press. I don't know what's the reason behind that. But I'm not giving Gita more than that. And Gita is a friend of mine, mind you. And this is nothing personal. Nothing personal. I noticed somebody telling me I should up Anza grade. No, it's not going up. It's not going up at all. It's not going up. It's not going up. It's staying right at C minus until they prove themselves. People got to prove themselves. So Gita gets a C minus from me. Jaretta. What's it? Jaretta Fernandez.
Jarita, yes. I'll give Jarita a solid B.
Okay, the thing is this. I strongly believe, Mr. Caesar, that even if Irfan they're in your class, you'll give Irfan, as dunce as Irfan is, you'll give Irfan a B plus or an A plus.
Mark, you're giving away this thing early. We rate the PPPC as a government at the end.
We will rate not today though, not today.
Okay.
But
all right.
On a serious note, and I say that this is not to equate Jaretta with Irfan. Jaretta Fernandez is way smarter and brighter and far more intelligent than
absolutely
than what's this clum name that sits there as the president. But what's your grade for her?
Yeah, I give Jarita a solid B, moving towards B minus. I need to see a little bit more from her. Like you would have said, Mark, she is very, very smart, and I agree with that 100%. Multi-talented, multifaceted.
I used the word very once. I said she's very smart.
Well, I'm gonna say it very, very, very. Yes.
Got you. Yeah. We haven't been seeing much of her recently, and I want to attribute that to she's still mourning. She lost her sister, in an accident a couple of weeks ago. So I like to be fair to people and give them that. She needs that breathing space and so forth and so on. She has been very active on Duncan's morning program in the kitchen, but after a little while, she is no longer in the kitchen. And then she appeared out in Madhya. Even after her sister's death, she went out here to ensure that the people go out and vote and so forth. And so I want to give her a C plus. I'll give her a C plus. I noticed somebody mentioned Daniel Seram's name. Daniel? Who? Okay, sweetheart. I'm gonna definitely go. Hey guys. Yeah, you get what grade do you want me to give you? A or a B? A. All right. Emma gets an A. Give that a kiss. Look, Emma gets an A from me, right? Yes, she probably gives me a C plus. What grade do you give me, Emma? A B or a C or a A?
100.
100. Good. All right. Good. So I give Joretta a C plus. And look, let me say this. Let me say this to you guys. I noticed Vernita Walton. Walton. Notice the name Walton. Probably giving your cousin a A plus. We're not going there now. People got to prove themselves. Taking a couple selfies is not proving yourself in politics for me. And you got to come better than that, whoever is a politician. So Amanza gets a C minus from me. And I'm being very nice with that C minus. Joretta get a C plus. We all want to see them come out and do more. This is nothing personal against anybody. I don't think I've ever met Joretta. I'm not sure. I know for sure I've never met Amanza. I can't recall. I don't know her personally. So this is nothing personal against people. Please, it's politics. Nothing personal. Daniel Seram cannot get a grade. He's not an MP. He's not an MP. What about Christopher Jones?
Chris.
I got to get here. Goodbye. Speaking of, yeah, sorry. What about Christopher Jones?
Mark, you. Christopher Jones, the chief whip. I would give Christopher Jones a B, moving towards a B minus. Again, this is a guy who is extremely talented. Okay, and
You're not saying
Christopher.
B because of Barber cheers. Not B because of that. You're giving him a genuine B.
Listen, Mark, the PPP would have tried their nonsense with that Barber chair, and even if that happens to be true, that's a doll in the pocket compares to what the PPP themselves be doing out there. So for that whole barber chair situation, I give my brother Christopher Jones a pass on that. Okay, Irfan Ali got a pass on 19 fraud charges. Mark, you want me to start going down the list?
Come, Mr. Caesar. Calm down. I have a
Okay.
kind of political dry sense of humor. Calm down.
Okay.
We know what
Okay.
the PPP did to him there. We all understand the gimmicks. And Mr. Christopher Jones has won his case. We know exactly what the PPP was up to. Don't get too thing up with when I said B is to barber cheers. Please don't.
Mark, you hear
Continue
that?
rating it, brother.
You hear what you just said? Christopher Jones won his case. That changes my grade. Christopher Jones B plus, moving towards an A. Chris, let's get on the ground. Chris, let's be impactful with the people. You know what to do, Mr. Jones. You know what to do. I have a lot of trust and a lot of faith in you, sir. And listen, man, you get out there and you be more impactful as that chief whip, man. Be more impactful, Chris.
I think, and John, we're grading people who are actually elected officials, not wannabe, elected officials who are actually serving in parliament. Not wishy-washy. We're not grading wishy-washy, Andrew. But let's get back to the grading here. Christopher Jones can do much more than he's doing now. We know that. We have seen that in Chris. But I don't know what is holding these guys back from going out there and let us see their true potentials. Let them go out there and work. And because we are seeing Christopher Jones on and off and not consistently out there in the struggle, so to speak, I would give Chris a B minus. That's just what I'll give him, a B minus. What about
Mark? That's a good grade.
Who else we can grade before we leave? Because we really
we got to get to the two leaders. We have to get to the two leaders. Let's see. Let our audience help us if we've missed anyone because we don't want to miss anybody.
What about the Shadow Minister of Health, Karen Cummings?
Karen Cummings, Shadow Minister of Health.
Come on, just hurry up and give her a C minus or a F, and let's move on. Please, come on.
I'm not gonna give her an F. I'm not gonna give her an F. I'm gonna give her a D plus.
All right, good. Whatever you give her, I'll give her too. She gets a D plus from me as well. What about because she's hardly out there? I don't know what's up with some of these people. some of these people. What about Maureen Philadelphia?
Maureen Philadelphia, she gets a C minus. I feel like if there's talent there, I listen, Mark, like you
You
would
know
have said
Maureen
with
Philadelphia, do you?
yes, I do. I do know her. I
Okay.
do know her. Yes,
I
I
thought you're
do know
squeezing
her.
in a thing right there.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. Mm-mm. I give her a C minus because listen, there is talent there, Mark. Um, these some of these MPs are not utilized the way they should be. And do you want?
And
How do
some
you
of
wanna?
and
How
some
do you
of them
wanna?
are just some of them are just too darn lazy. They don't have political eyes. Some of them just see politics as some of them, mind you, as a position, a status. Some of them see it as a beauty pageant also. I don't subscribe to that sort of politics. Philadelphia, we haven't seen much of her. I don't know if because these people get other jobs or whatever, and their other jobs are more important. But I know Miss Philadelphia, she has been a fighter. And so I want to be fair with her. How much you give her?
I give her a C minus.
Whatever you give her, I'll give her too.
Yeah, but she can Mark. She
How
can
much you give
quickly
her?
work that towards a B. She can quickly work that towards a B, with being impactful,
Or a C
being
plus.
more on the
Or a
floor,
C
with
plus.
being more on the ground with the people. Listen. Here, as MPs, man, one of the first and foremost jobs, criteria that you should have is to engage the people, man. You have to engage the people. You have to be good with the people. You have
All
to
right.
be good on the floor. That should be a requirement. Good on the ground.
We still have a couple more here. We still have a couple more here. There is one other guy who is an MP. And I believe that MP once told me that we are related. We got several MPs. We got two of our indigenous brothers. I think Mr. Henry, and then we have Ricky Ramstroop as well. We got maybe we should put the grade in for later. But how much Ricky Ramstroop get? What grade you get? Then we get Sarabo Haley. What grade she got? And then we have Coretta McDonald.
Okay. Well, I really like Ricky Ramsaroop. I applaud him, for coming on the show with us. It wasn't the easiest of shows. He faced the music very well. He stood behind his comments. I would give Ricky right now. I'll give him a B plus, moving towards an A minus.
What did you give him?
A B plus.
Ricky gets a C from me. And we move on to Coretta McDonald. Ricky gets a C from me. A C from me. C. Ricky gets a C from me. We don't know where Mr. Caesar is as of now, but Ricky
Right here,
gets a
right
C
here.
from me. Yeah, he gets a C from me. What about Coretta McDonald?
Coretta McDonald has been working with all honesty. Coretta McDonald has been working, Mark. And for Coretta McDonald, I would give her A minus, moving towards an A.
You know, I don't like when people accuse our people wrongfully here. Some people are accusing you that you're taking pay for these grades.
Can they be specific so I could?
Nah, they're just
No,
kidding
no,
around
no,
with
no.
that.
We got great people on this platform.
So what grade you give Coretta?
A minus, moving towards an A. Mark, you know what? On second thought, I'll go ahead and give Coretta McDonald an A.
Okay. And I'll just go right ahead and give her a C plus.
Can we push that to a B?
We need to see them regular presence on the ground. Miss Caesar, Miss Coretta, we don't have, I'm not saying that she's a part-time politician, but Coretta wears too many hats, and so her time is divided all over the place. And maybe that's why I'm giving her a C plus. She is president of the Guyana Trade Union Congress. She is general secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union, and so forth and so on. And so she's all over. I want politicians. I'm not saying maybe because the Guyana is. I want to see politicians who are constantly out there. She does her program as well. She tries her best. But remember, these guys are not talk show hosts, you know. They're not talk show hosts. But I give her a C plus. There's Dinesh Jaiprashad.
I would say this. Had you asked
So, by
me,
the way, let me let you know that some people are already planning to take the grading system to the CCJ. Let them take it. Y'all bring it on. Let them take it.
okay, Mark,
I'll get,
you say,
I'll, I'll,
Mark,
I'll get a lawyer, competent lawyer in Guyana there to sleep on this case for me. But go ahead.
you don't need to get a lawyer in Guyana to sleep on the case, Mark. You said that you have $13 in your pocket. I have
Yep.
$20 in my pocket.
We got
I'm gonna seek out. I am gonna reach out to Adrian Saunders personally this evening. Don't worry, that's
we
taken care
have
of.
Kellon Washington on our side. But go ahead. Your take on
You know, Mark,
the other grading.
had you asked me this same question about 6, 7 months ago, Dinesh would have gotten an A because Dinesh was so active. Now, what has happened of late, only God in heavens knows. So listen, with this work that these MPs are supposed to be doing for the people of Guyana, it cannot be part-time in nature. It's full-time, it has to be consistent, constant. We know the adversary that we're going up against here. So we have to be consistent. So based on all of that, Mark, I'm not going to hold you up any longer with my chatter. Dinesh gets a B from me, moving towards a B minus because he continues to regress because, I'm just not seeing him. I know he had a slot right here on 107.1 FM. Listen, I encourage all MPs to the extent that you would have gotten a slot here on 107.1 FM to take full advantage of it. This is your opportunity to speak directly to the people of Guyana. Take advantage of it. Do not take it for granted. Mark, over to you.
Somebody's saying here, Merlene Thomas is saying this exercise is absolutely ridiculous. Thank you. We can't please everybody all the time. And when you see Miss Merlene Thomas is saying that this exercise is absolutely ridiculous, must know that one of her favorites probably got a C minus or a failing grade. So that's her way of protesting. Here's why it's important with a little smile on it. And we do this not to insult our politicians, them in the opposition, but we want them to go out there and do more and to work more. All the grades can be the same. And it doesn't mean because someone gets a failing grade mean they can do better. I had a C minus before, right? And I moved up to a C plus. These politicians can do that too. We have to be able to hold our politicians them accountable and to be honest with them because we want them to be honest with us. So some of y'all don't get upset because y'all see a C minus. I may be seeing things differently from you guys. Some of you guys may give some A, I may give a C minus, or I may fail. Some of them I may give a B plus or an A, and you guys may fail. It's the nature of things. Right, Shondell Griffith? It's just how we operate. Dinesh gets a C minus from me. A C minus from me. I like Dinesh. He's an okay guy, but he has disappeared. We are not seeing much action in Region 6 from Dinesh. And so I can't give him a good grade. He gets a C minus from me. We haven't graded, let me see, Sherwin Holder, the chairman of the PNC.
Oh, yeah. That was one I was looking forward to, Mark. Sherwin Holder, I would give Sherwin a B minus. Um, Sherwin needs to do much better, and he's more than capable of doing much better. In Norton's absence, he is the guy. That should be putting everything together. You heard his position. Chairman of the People's National Congress reform. Sherwin, you need to take that position with a grain of salt, my brother, and let's get moving here. Listen, Mark, these MPs are just not being utilized enough as far as I'm concerned. There are certain weeks that there is
When you
so
say
much.
when you say, Mr. Caesar, Mr. Gentleman,
Yes, sir.
when you say that these MPs are not being utilized, explain that, sir. Explain that. I don't know what you, but explain it.
Well, Mark, utilizing the way that, listen, all right. Mark, I would like to see our MPs at least taking 2 days out of the week, out of their schedule, to just basically engage the people. It doesn't matter whether two you want to get together and say, hey, let's go to the Guinness bar on Pleasance Line Top and just engage the people and talk to them. Hear what they have to say. Get the thoughts of the people. Or two, you say, let's go to Golden Grove Market, and hang out there and just talk with the people. Mark, that's what you call a ground game. You want to encourage people, you want to build out the party, you have to be on the ground. Buxton Line Top, Buxton Road Front. Listen, I'm in the States, but I know all the spots, man. I'm Guyanese after all when it's all said and done. You know, Victoria Road Front, Naboclis Road Front. You talk to the people, you engage the people, right? And Mark, to an extent, these assignments need to come from the leadership. And I don't know if we're grading the leadership of the AFC and the PNC today, but I would surely like for us to do that exercise to close out. But listen, the activity levels of the MPs are very low. It's only one press conference a week, Mark. Maybe they need to be two. One led by Sherwin Holden, the other one by Mr. Norton, and sometimes Amanza could lead one also because she does. I remember a press conference that Amanda led. It was a very, very good press conference. Very good. And that's what I want to see. The PPP always come out with their propaganda. As soon as they come out, we must come out right behind them to rebuttal, not 2, 3 days after. That's what I mean by utilization. It doesn't have to be Norton who comes out with the rebuttal. They can quickly have a Zoom conference call amongst everybody and determine, hey, what is our rebuttal going to be?
You know,
What is it going to what's going to be what is it going to content? What's going to be
I
in the rebuttal?
a lot of these MPs need to stick to their respective areas. For example, I want to see MPs who are responsible for like, for example, Annette Ferguson, Member of Parliament, is Shadow Minister of Housing. I want to see her focus in those areas and reach out. She should have been there in Foothill and in Linden. And those are not areas we're not seeing her active in those things, people with land issues and so forth. I need to see her more vibrant in those areas because that's her portfolio, Shadow Minister of Housing. With regards to Mr. Royce Ford, Senior Counsel, his area is he's the Shadow Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General. He's a Shadow Minister, and he deals with a lot of legal matters. And kudos to him, he has been extremely successful. Um, I don't want to see Shadow Minister of Legal Affairs dealing with housing issues and so forth. It doesn't mean that they can get together as a team to protest and so forth. The shadow minister of social services and so forth, or the shadow minister of sports. Those are, I need to see, this is just my opinion, mind you, that these members of parliament stick to their respective areas. Simple as that. That is what I want. But they get some of them jumping all over the place. And when they jump all over the place, you can see that some of them are very, very weak. but they just want to jump all over the place to make it appear that they know it all. But they're very, very weak. Y'all know of some of them. They're very shallow in some areas. So stick to what they are basically there to do. With regards to Sherwin, you're saying he's the chairman of the PNC, right?
Yes, correct.
So, and if we were to spell chairman, it begins with what letter again?
With a C.
Good. I give Sherwin a holder because he's chairman. I give him a C. I give him a C grade because we're not seeing much action in Essequibo and so forth and so on. Mr. Sherwin Holder should have already had a protest in front of the police station calling for the removal of that so-called police commander that allegedly interfered in the rape matter. Let us see these sort of actions. I love action-oriented politicians. Don't get me wrong. I'm not grading them out of any personal view of them. None at all. Most of them I don't even know. And even if I were to, I'm sorry, I was related to any one of them, I would still give them a grade. I know Coretta since on the quarantine. I know who else I know, and I'm giving them a grade as I see it fit. And some of them love to think that it's personal. Look, I like Dinesh. I know that he means well, but he has been absent for months. And not because he has been absent for months and because I know him, I'm going to give him a nice grade for him to feel good. No, he gets a C minus from me. He needs to do better. Ganesh has been, a regular feature here. I could easily give Ganesh a A plus and so forth, but I give him a B or a B plus. I know they can do better. We all want them to do better. This leads me to Haley, Sarabo Haley. All right, sorry. Let's move on to somebody else because I already know where the heading to. But let's hear the him then. Give her a grade.
C minus.
All right. Whatever you do, I'm sticking with you. I'm sticking with C minus too. We're not seeing a lot of her. We know then that she has a party that was registered. We're not hearing anything about that. We're just not hearing anything. And so I will be nice by just sticking with a C minus. I'll be nice with just a C minus. I could get worse than that with her, but I'll just stick with your C minus. This leads me now. Did we need anyone else before we head to the leader of the opposition?
I just want to make one comment behind that, and
there
I
is
say
somebody
that
else. There are two others, MP Henry, I believe, and
Natasha Singh Lewis.
Yeah, what? And then there's another MP out in Region 1.
Ronald Cox?
Ronald Cox, yeah. Your grading of Mr. Cox.
Ronald Cox has been very active. Okay, and he's all the way out there. So sometimes it's hard to get access to the work that he's doing, but from what I have seen and from what I would have heard, I'm prepared to give Mr. Cox an A grade. I await your grade, Mark.
I wanted to see Mr. Cox take the forefront, just like Miss Dawn Hastings, who gets a good grade from me. I want to see him in the forefront, especially in the Madhya dorm fire that took the lives of 20 young people, all of indigenous ancestry. He should have taken the lead there along with the general secretary and so forth. It's not to say that he hasn't, gone out there and mentioned a few things, but take the lead. With this rape allegations, take the lead. Also, get some of our indigenous brothers and sisters out in the Letema and Region 1, those other areas, and get them out there to protest. Get them, let their voices be heard. I like Ronald Cox. He's always willing and ready. But I got to give Ronald a C minus. I got to give him a C minus. Can he do better? Yes, he can. What about Natasha Singh Lewis?
Natasha Singh Lewis has been active. I would say she's been active. Um, her grade for me would be a B, a
One second,
solid B.
1 second, 1 second.
She's been out there. She's been
You
out
see
there,
this
Mark,
inviting over.
fighting
One
with.
second, 1 second. Somebody is saying that after this grading, you're gonna get knocked off. They don't seem Wayne Caesar getting knocked off after this. No, that's not it. Wayne is entitled to his opinion. There's no knocking off. This is not a set of something. We are grading, and I respect his grade that he's giving the MPs. And this is a democracy. He's not getting knocked off. Mr. Gentleman in the audience, he's not getting knocked off. But Natasha Singh, please.
Yeah, I'll give Miss Singh a B going towards a B minus. And let me just make a correction on my Ronald Cox grading. It is a A moving towards an A minus. It's not an A moving towards an A plus. Just to make that, clear.
Ronald could be doing better, like those who got C and C grades and C minus and so forth. For me, Natasha Singh Edwards. What's her name again? Natasha Singh
Lewis. Natasha Singh Lewis.
I want to be consistent with those who I'm grading because I want to see more of Natasha Singh out there. And you mentioned press conferences, and we shouldn't be having opposition one press conference per week. As issues develop, there should be press conference. They should call a press conference. This is modern times. Lots of things happening with the Ministry of Education, fraud, and all manner of things. Natasha Singh and others who have their programs on social media are not talk show hosts. They got to remember that. People prefer to see them on the ground more than in the air. And this is not knocking, what's her name? Natasha. But we need to see more of Natasha on issues. And she is the Shadow Minister of Education, and we need to see her more aggressive in that area. Just like I want to see Geeta Chandan more aggressive in the area that she's responsible for. She's the Shadow Minister of Home Affairs. Let us see them active more in that. And for that, I will give Natasha Singh Lewis a C plus. There's a Vince Roy Jordan. Your grade on Vince Roy.
Yeah, Vince Roy gets an A from me. Vince Roy Jordan gets an A. A solid A. He determines where that A goes. If it goes to A plus or whether it goes to A minus. But he gets a solid A from me.
Okay. I will give Vince Roy a C plus. He has a lot of potentials, yes, but I'll give him a C plus on that. Is there anyone else that we left out? There's a Henry out in one of those other regions. I'll give Henry a C plus as well.
Nicolette Henry.
Is there anyone else that we left out? Oh yeah, there's Sinclair. I know a lot of people don't know Sinclair. Sinclair said that he and I are related. I believe that's the guy, Sinclair. Sinclair gets right off the bat. Right off the bat, Sinclair gets a C from me. Right away, C. Or C minus, sorry. C minus from me. I know you don't even know who Sinclair is. So
exactly. So I was going to say across the board, we're going to give a C minus because I don't know him.
All right, got you. One other person before we go, and I think we have graded everyone. Let's go to everybody. In case you guys missed, everybody got Marvin Williams is not an MP. We're dealing with just MPs. Let's go with the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Compton Norton, before we go.
I thought you would have done Kemrach first. Mark. All right.
Oh, Kemrach.
I'm going to go. Yes, please. Let's do Kemrach first and then.
Mr. Rambutan. Go with him, please. I thought we did him already, but go ahead.
Yeah, Kemrach gets a C from me. Kemrach gets a C. Yes.
I see. All right. I give Kemrach a C minus. He gets a C minus from me. Here, there, not too sure. Confusing politics, but I give him a C minus. Um, Aubrey Norton, as we prepare to wrap up this afternoon's impromptu program. Aubrey
Yes, Aubrey
Compton
Norton
Norton. Let
gets
me
a
just say
B.
to folks,
He gets a
everybody else got a grade. Everyone has already gotten a grade. Maybe you guys came late, but go right ahead. Let's hear your grade for Aubrey Compton Norton.
yes, leader of the opposition, Aubrey Compton Norton gets a B grade from me.
Let me
You
see.
can't get
Go ahead.
an A grade. I give an A grade when most of the MPs under you would be getting an A grade. Then you would be entitled to an A grade because you are the leader. So if I have a mixture of A's and B's, you're gonna land in the B grade. It's the same thing for Mr. Ramjatan. We had Devon Sears who would have had an F. We had a couple of D's in there. So even the high scores that he had out of the AFC could not push his grade higher because of the low ones. When we average out, he's going to come out with a C, hence the reason for me giving him a C.
All right. You said you give Mr. Norton what? A C grade?
No, he gets a B. He had a lot
He
of
gets a
A's.
B. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
and he
I
had
got
some
you.
B's in there. Yeah.
I hear you, sir. Um, let me see the audience, those who are trying to read my facial expression as it pertains to the grade for Mr. Aubrey Compton Norton. What grade do you guys think that I'm about to give him? Let me see if you guys know me that well. It will take a minute for that. Let's play a quick commercial for those who want to get in touch with Miss Shellon Washington's law firm. And I'll read your comments as to what grade you think I give Mr. Norton.
Hello, this is attorney Shellon Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Lawyer, get in touch with, and you're in Brooklyn area, Queens, wherever you are in New York, or even outside of New York, you have a legal matter that she may be able to assist, give her a call. Francine Cruz, give her a call too. Francine always being evicted out of every nursing home. Now my grading for Mr. Oh, there's a phone call coming in, guys. Sorry, let me just take this call. Hello. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, no problem. Yeah, good. Thank you. All right, guys. I just heard from a lawyer there who's asking me to that there is a court order has been filed to prevent me from giving Mr. Norton a grade at this point in time. I'll have our in-house lawyer, respond to the threat that we got that we should not be grading Mr. Norton right now, that I shouldn't give Mr. Norton. And you guys know that I want to I want to let the system work. And so I will be grading Mr. Norton on some other occasion. I'll let the system work. We let the system work on 107.1 FM. And with that, we'll definitely have to bring the curtains down. There'll be no grading for Mr. until we respond to a threat from the lawyer. This matter seemed to be going to the Caribbean Court of Justice. As it pertains to a grade on Mr. Norton, please, let me sleep on it. I will sleep on it. Your closing remarks, please, Mr. Caesar.
Yeah, I just want to say, it was. Thank you for having me, first thing, Mark. It was good to spend some time with the people of Guyana. Um, let's continue to push forward here. We are making ground, and we have to continue to be resolute as a people. We know that our country is at the crossroads right now, and our intention is to fight and to once again liberate Guyana. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Mr. Caesar. And I don't want you to feel offended that I have decided that I want to sleep on this matter as it pertains to grading Mr. Aubrey Compton Norton. I want to sleep on
I
this
think,
matter.
Mark, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for most of our listeners and viewers, because I think as of right now, he's sitting there with a B that I would have given him. So that B stands until you come with a decision. So that's good. So
I
Mr.
hope
Norton
I
right now is
hope the
walking around
B
with a
is
B.
I hope the B is not for Bam Bam Ali. B as Mr.
Mark, you
Wayne
have a
Caesar,
w-
thank you so much.
you have a way of putting things, Mark.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
God bless you all. Thank you guys out there for your time as well. We will be back. At least I will be back. We can't have Wayne every minute. Wayne babysits too, guys. Wayne is a babysitter too. I'm not the only one here. Plus, he's an accountant and so forth and so on. But thank you so much for your time, though, Mr. Caesar, and to all of our listeners. We thank you all so much. And the grading process that we started here again, or we're continuing, nothing personal with the grades that people have gotten. We want to see our MPs do more, and we're hoping that they will do better. Those who have gotten a C minus, those who have failed. Remember, I once got a C minus in a class, a C minus, a C minus. I moved it up to a C plus and then worked my way up. Thank you so much again, Mr. Caesar. God bless you, sir.
Thank you, Mark. Have a good day, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. All right, good rating. It was fun, but it was also serious, and we appreciate the exchange between you guys and us. We think it's fair, it's mature, it's very professional, and we are definitely thankful for your input as well. Um, we'll sleep on some things, mind you. I'll see you guys later on this evening. God bless you. And those women who went out and they protested today, we appreciate that so much. Thank you all. Thank you. So long.
With another one, straight up, blackness I am. Aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Ben stop. Defend the ghetto youth. Mark Ben stop. Registration is the truth. Mark Ben stop. Straight up from the root. Mark Ben stop. Who tell the truth? Mark Ben stop. Defend the ghetto youth. Mark Ben stop. Registration is the truth. Mark Ben stop. Straight up from the root. Mark Ben stop. I do it for the love. Him not do it for no money. Straight up. Him attack. Educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up and stop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Who tell the truth? Mark Ben stop. Defend the ghetto youth. Mark Ben stop. Registration is the truth. Mark Ben stop. Straight up from the root.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877 3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.